The sun cast its golden light over Jerusalem as King Jehoshaphat sat upon his throne. His kingdom had seen years of peace, yet on this fateful day a messenger ran into the court, his face pale with fear. "My king," he gasped, "a great army is coming against us, mighty warriors from Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir. They are already at Engedi." Jehoshaphat's heart pounded. These were not just any enemies. They were fierce nations that had long sought Judah's downfall. Their numbers were beyond counting, their strength unmatched. Fear crept into the king's heart, but instead of calling for his generals or fortifying his cities, Jehoshaphat did something extraordinary. He turned his face toward heaven. "Summon all of Judah," he declared. "Let us seek the Lord's help." And so from every village and town, men, women, and children gathered in Jerusalem. The city, usually bustling with trade and chatter, now stood in solemn fasting and prayer. As the people stood before the temple, Jehoshaphat raised his hands and began to pray, "O Lord, God of our fathers, are you not the ruler over all the kingdoms of the earth? Power and might are in your hand, and no one can withstand you." The crowd listened in silence, their eyes fixed on their king. "We have no power against this vast army," Jehoshaphat continued. "We do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you." A stillness filled the air. Then suddenly a man named Jahaziel, a Levite, stepped forward. His eyes burned with divine revelation as the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. "Listen, all of Judah and King Jehoshaphat," Jahaziel proclaimed. "Do not be afraid. The battle is not yours, but God's. Tomorrow go down against them, but you will not have to fight. Stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord." The people gasped. A battle without fighting? A victory without weapons? Then, as if struck by the sheer glory of God, Jehoshaphat fell to his knees in worship. The people followed, bowing low before the Lord, while the Levites lifted their voices in songs of praise. The next morning, before the sun even rose, the army of Judah gathered, prepared for battle. But this would not be an ordinary fight. Jehoshaphat, standing tall before his people, made a bold decision. "Put the singers in front," he commanded. "Let them go ahead of the army, praising the Lord." The warriors looked at one another, stunned. Send singers to face swords and spears? But Jehoshaphat was unwavering. As they marched toward the battlefield, voices rose in worship. "Give thanks to the Lord, for his love endures forever." Again and again the words echoed through the valleys. But something incredible happened. As Judah's songs of praise reached the enemy camp, confusion spread like wildfire among the invading armies. The Moabites turned against the Ammonites. The Ammonites struck down the men of Mount Seir. Within moments, the three great armies destroyed each other. By the time Jehoshaphat's army arrived, the valley was eerily silent. Not a single enemy soldier remained. The battlefield was covered in corpses, and among them lay a vast treasure: gold, silver, and fine garments. For 3 days, Judah's people collected the spoils of war. What had started as a moment of fear and despair had ended in unimaginable victory and abundance, all without lifting a single sword. On the 4th day, the people gathered in the valley where the battle had taken place. They did not call it a battlefield anymore. They named it the Valley of Barakah, the Valley of Blessing, because the Lord had turned their fear into triumph. When they returned to Jerusalem, the city erupted in celebration. The sound of harps, trumpets, and joyful singing filled the air. Judah had learned an unforgettable truth. The greatest weapon is not the sword, it is faith. The greatest strategy is not war, it is worship. And so for the rest of Jehoshaphat's reign, Judah knew peace, for the fear of the Lord fell upon all their enemies. Jehoshaphat's battle was won not by might nor by power, but by praise